Hi Catherine, it's great to see you on the camp with us the other week. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for coming and working with us. So on your breaststroke, there's a few things, we were speaking about this on the day, that we need to correct. And the big thing is the legs. You can see how you're bringing your legs up really, really wide. So normally, obviously on your breaststroke leg kick, what we want to do is pull the heels up towards the bum, turn the feet out, hold the water on the inside of feet and kick back. Whereas what we can see is happening with you is you're turning your feet out and then pulling up. So they're really, really wide. All right, so watch this length again in a little bit more detail. On that pull down phase, try to pull down and finish with your hands on the front of your legs so that as you're recovering, it's easy to keep your elbows by your ribs and you're not flaring out wide, as we can see you doing here. That's just going to reduce the resistance and make you a little bit quicker on the underwater phase, which is going to mean you're close to the surface and you can have a better and stronger breakout. Now, the other big thing we're doing on the breaststroke is pulling too far back. So your pull is really, really wide and your elbows are coming right back behind your ribs. I need you to try and keep your elbows, as you can see there in that green line, in front of your chest. So when you're doing your pull, I want you to think about it being smaller. Try to think about turning your palms in. So your little finger's going to go up and out, elbows go high, and then I want you to think about squeezing, turning your palms so they face each other, and then as you squeeze, that's going to give you a lift out of the water, and you haven't got to move your head at all to lift yourself up and to take a breath. Because as we can see what's happening here, because your elbows come all the way back, you're forced to lift your head to breathe. And then as you lift your head, you're really arching through that lower back and that pushes your hips down. Now what you do really well in this position is you have a fast recovery, really fast recovery, and you actually manage to get your head back in line so it's the top of your head entering the water, not your face. So you're still able to get a little bit of that arch look. So you're sending the force forward and down a little bit, which is really, really good, and that's what we want. So you're fast on the hands is almost masking a little bit. But the problem with that pause back here for you and that big arch of the lower back is that your legs are arching, coming out really, really wide at that point. So you can see there how wide your ankles are. They should be together at that point. So from here, look, your heels should be together. And then we should start drawing the heels up towards the bum together without them coming really, really far apart. As they're pulling up, there may be a slight separation, but there shouldn't be that big separation to begin with and then the lift up, because that really adds the resistance on your kick. So you're able to sort of max some of it, like I say, with that fast recovery and getting your head back down. You're also not getting your head too far down. Sometimes people in that position will really drive the head down so it becomes really, really low with the chin on the chest. You're not doing that. Your head's staying as it is there, look, so your neck's in a neutral position once it comes back down, which is great, but we need to make sure that as you are starting your pull, you're not in a flat line. I don't want your head, your hands all at the same height. I'd like them to try to be your hands higher than your head, so we start to become a little bit more body dominant on this. Because as you can see here, look, as we're pulling back too far, adding the resistance, we're dropping the hips, and you're in this position here, so there's a lot of resistance coming towards the water. Look, your whole chest, your whole stomach pressing against the water, the heels start drifting apart. Because they're too relaxed, because you've dropped the hips so far and really pushed the hips down, the heels sort of drift apart, and that obviously adds the resistance on. So your hands want to be in that green V right there before you start your pull, so they're above your head. So just like we talk about on fly, we want the hands to be higher than the head and the chest to get that stretch and torque down the front of the body. Then from there we go into that high elbow. Then we think about turning in, getting the palms together, getting that squeeze and lift out of the water, and that's going to give you more balance in the stroke. If you are lifting through your lower back, that's going to push the hips down. You're going to lose that balance. If you increase the resistance, the symmetry is going to be challenged because the balance is going to be off. So we want to think about trying to get back into that streamlined position as fast as possible, and we want to think about our hands going through the surface, so thumbs through the surface, along that green line, forwards and down. Forward and down, then up and out. So we've got that arch in it. So the hips are allowed to come up behind us, press down behind. So it starts pushing and pulling us through the pull. So as you can see from side on, the stroke gets a little bit flat. We haven't really got that undulation. When we talk about on butterfly, we want that 1, 2, 3, upper back, hips, heels. It's a similar situation we want. We obviously don't want the heels to come out of the water, but we do want the upper back to come out and the hips to come close to the surface. If you look at your hips, they're never really moving. They're never getting the up and down undulation in the stroke. So final length again here, look. Try to maintain a good straight line. So it shouldn't be just the top of your head. It should be along that green line coming towards the water, and everything else should stay along that green line if you can. But as you can see, your legs have already drifted and it's knocking you off that line. So head position is really important. You see that eye line is good, and then as you come to the surface, you're lifting that head. So that's just a habit. We don't need that. And let's put it into that flat position right there. That undulation is really key to making you become body dominant. So high hips, low chest, hands higher than the head and the chest before they start that pull with the eye line down. And then when you get onto that position here, we should already start to think about turning in with the hands. As you turn in, that's going to lift you up. That squeeze is important. However, you're coming really far back, forced to arch through the back, lower back, as we can see. That arch is meaning that your legs are getting kind of forced apart, really wide on the heels. That adds the resistance, and it's difficult then to get that timing in. So you do really good job, actually, like I said, on that recovery of driving your hands forward to kind of compensate, but we shouldn't have to be compensating. We want to think about not getting those elbows all the way back, as we can see right there, because it's having really big consequences. So we want to keep the hands in front of the chest. That's where they are now, is exactly where they should come to, as far as should go. And then rather than driving straight forward above the water and then down almost vertically, because as you are doing your kick now and pushing against the water, those pink lines there indicating all that resistance, look, is pressing against you. That's why we want to go forwards and down and add that undulation in, so we've not got as much resistance as well. So the head position, shape of the pull, really, really important to making sure that the legs don't drift behind us, to making sure we've got a more powerful kick. So obviously everything feeds into the other. So heels, they need to come, stay close together, keep the knees close together, bring them up towards the bum, turn them out, try to catch the water on the inside of the foot, kick back and down, and then keep the tension in the legs. We could see there sometimes they were drifting apart on the end as well. So as you completed your kick, keep the tension in the legs. So I've just included a video to give you something to sort of like maybe work towards, a little bit of visual to have in your mind. Obviously everyone's technique is going to be slightly different, but we can see here, look, as we get in that undulation in, we can see the eye line stays down. You can see that pull, the elbows stay in front of the chest and the ribs. We can see as I complete the leg kick there, the legs stay strong. You can see as they're coming up for the kick, they're together. So I start here, look, hands higher than the head and the chest, forward and down, rotating the hands as I go, pushing the chest down, pressing, reaching forward, hands high, get onto that high catch, squeeze, that gives me that lift. And you can see there, look, with the kick, the heels stay close until they're coming up towards the hips, up towards the bum, and then driving back. I'm not letting them drift really far apart. So look at the shape of the pull there. Forward and down, rotating the hands as I go, little fingers up and out, high elbow catch, and it's that squeeze there. And that squeeze means there's less resistance, because as I get my hands to this position there, I'm lined up behind my hands that are already in streamlines, so there's less resistance pressing against the water. And that means that I'm faster on that recovery, and that means that there's no pause. So a really good drill for you to use with this one right here. You can build it up. Obviously, I want to work on the squeeze drill with the partner. I want to work on the shape of the pull. I want to do some breaststroke legs, maybe some breaststroke arms, butterfly legs. Then build up into 2 kicks and 1 pull. So I've got the fly kick at the top with the breaststroke kick. Then when I'm down deeper than normal, I can do that kick in isolation, so there should be no reason then for you to be separating the legs. Accelerating out of the water, good for the timing, because as I'm coming up towards the surface, that pull should bring me through the surface. Then as I'm coming through the surface, by being fast on the recovery, keeping the hips high close to the surface there, use that fly kick to work on the undulation. Like I said, then we can do that kick in separation here to feel I'm accelerating, and the pull should bring me through the surface and build onto the next stroke. I really like that drill. I also think a good drill for you to be breaststroke arms with flyer legs, but maybe just doing single arm. So you're just doing breast arms, flyer legs, but you're just doing single arm, alternating. It's going to teach you not to pull so far back with the elbow, because you're going to lose that stroke. Another good one to you would be to do single leg kick. So arms in streamline. And we did a little bit of this on the camp. We're just kicking one leg at a time, but if you're pulling out really wide, you're probably going to feel that resistance more than normal. And if you're kicking wide, you're going to feel that you're not holding the water. So it's really going to teach you imbalances in the stroke and in the kick. And it's a really good one for really isolating, obviously, each leg one at a time. It's very challenging, but hopefully you'll be able to feel the differences and work out how to bring your heels straight up without taking it wide first. All right, so on analysis, I feel like it's the stroke at the front, the catch, that's going to really help the kick at the back, okay? But we've got to keep that core engaged. You've got to keep that head position correct. You can't arch through the lower back. You can't lift the head to breathe, okay? So all the drills they did on the camp should be relevant. I hope all that makes sense. If you got any questions about anything, get back in touch, let us know. Hopefully we get to see you again soon, and you've made some changes in that time. If you're getting confused, like I said, get back to us and we'll try and help you out. All right, best of luck, Catherine. Hopefully see you again.